I get such a burst of joy walking into a room that's light, airy, and clean with uncluttered space and surfaces. Eliminating clutter and visual noise feels as if a weight of anxiety and stress has lifted and you can breathe. So one thing that I plan on doing for this new decade is working more on honing my minimalism skills and the aesthetic of minimalism in my environment. One thing I'll say about minimalism is when I first kind of got into it a little bit, I was kind of dabbling in it over the past few years, I saw the extreme side of it and I knew that that was a direction I definitely did not want to go. But that doesn't mean you can't implement certain minimalistic routines and habits to help you with productivity, time management, and stress reduction. Since I've been experimenting with minimalism over the past few years, there's definitely a few things that I've learned along the way, a few realizations that have really stuck with me. So I'll share 4 of those with you right now. One is the more that I've owned in my life, the less that I need. Number 2, less stuff equals less stress. Number 3, minimalism looks different for everyone. And number 4, minimalism isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. Freedom from clutter and visual noise that weighs you down. Okay, 20 minimalist habits that really help me anytime I need to reset and refocus. These are just little tips and tricks that I use and they've kind of become habits for me, so I want to share them with you and hopefully, maybe some of these can help you out too. So number 1 is being more mindful and intentional with our purchases. And one question I always ask whenever I'm out, and if I'm out and about and I happen to see something that I really like, I ask myself this question every single time. Do I need it? Do I love it? Will it make me money? And if it doesn't fall into one of those 3 categories, then I don't bother with it. It doesn't come home with me, and that's one less thing in my house cluttering it up. Minimalist habit number 2, let go of things that are no longer serving you. So you can have items that are perfectly usable, they're still in perfectly good condition, and you can be tempted to keep them just because of that fact alone. But if they're no longer serving you, it's not fulfilling to have them taking up space, You really only have so much space around you for items that serve you, for items that enhance your life. So whenever you're trying to declutter, I always think about this. Aside from the does it spark joy, I always think about that phrase. Is this serving me? And if it's not, if it's no longer serving you, then you can feel good about letting it go and move on to someone else that it could serve. Number 3, finding your version of minimalism is trial and error. It's gonna look different for everyone. And there's extreme minimalism, but that's not the only way to go about it. And it's probably not ideal for most people. Most people might, I imagine, kind of more lean towards the cozy minimalist, where you still have everything that you love around you. Your home still feels like a home. It reflects your personality, your hobbies, your passions, things that really inspire you. And you like to have those kind of things around you because it does keep you motivated, it keeps you inspired. And then there's, more extreme versions where it might feel a little more stark, a little more, maybe like a very clean museum. So there's a lot of different looks, and it's gonna look different for every single person, and we're gonna do it with our own style. It's really more of a series of routines and mindsets and loving uncluttered spaces and wanting more clarity for our mind. So that's something to just know as you're kind of, going along. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to clean your bathroom or you're trying to keep your kitchen countertop uncluttered or something. Minimalism is really just a tool to use in maybe just a specific area for you, or it can be more of a lifestyle. So it's gonna totally look different for everyone, but finding your version is a lot of fun, and it's trial and error, so it's really just all about experimenting and finding what works for you. And that leads us to number 4, and this is more of a minimalist mind hack. It's just a question I like to ask every once in a while, and it works for all areas of your life. It's what's the right amount for what you do? Because we all are a little different in how we divide our time up between, the things that we do in our day. And so it's going to be a little different for everyone. So I like to just ask, what's the right amount for what I do? Oh, and you might notice the background looks a little different, or if I look a little different, it's because I'm filming this video on a couple of different days. And I'm also filming another video at the same time. I'm reorganizing our bedroom, so that's why the background's, kind of changing and looking a little different. Okay, on to number 5. And actually these next few items on my list are more like micro areas where clutter can build up. But once you declutter and you kind of get control back over those little areas, it really boosts your motivation in a big way to expand that into other areas of your life. So number 5 for me is owning less makeup was a huge boost, and it really, that's what kicked off the whole, like my whole interest in minimalism kicked off just from that alone. So owning less makeup, a long time ago, some of you guys might remember if you followed me for a long time, I used to have a big makeup collection, and I was always into checking out every new makeup collection that would come out from all the brands, and I just kind of started getting away from that. I'm still really passionate about makeup. I love it. It's my hobby. I wear it all the time, and it's a lot of fun. I love all the textures and the colors and playing with it, and you know how it enhances your looks and everything. And it's a lot of fun, but I have just the right amount for what I do now. So instead of like knowing that it's not my job or anything, it doesn't really bring resources back to me, it's not really an asset, I don't spend so much of my resources, I don't put so much of my resources into that area. I put a little in, just enough for what you do, right? But not so much to where all of a sudden it's sucking away your resources, time, energy, money, more than what it's giving back to you. One of the things that I found that really helped was not getting caught up in the hype, number 1, of new products, new collections always coming out, because that's like a constant chase, right? Collections will always be coming out. There will always be the next best thing coming out, right? It can be really easy to get caught up in the hype when you see other people using products. It can make you feel like, oh, I gotta have the same thing that they're using, you know, on screen or in a makeup tutorial or something. But instead of that, I kind of just flipped it, and I just started focusing on my color palette. So focus on your color palette, your hair color, your complexion, skin tone, undertone, eye color. You have a very special, unique color palette, and you want to find the colors that work best on you. So it can be easy to get caught up when you see someone else using certain products, but they might have a completely different complexion and color palette than you do. Number 6, less skincare products. Yes, that's another area, that's another micro area that once you get it under control, decluttered. I love skincare though. Natural oils, natural skincare, I'm fully still into that. I love it. I have minimized my routine a lot, but that's something that, you know, I mean, we all have different skin textures and everything that we're working on, skin problems and things. Your skin is going to call for specific items, you know, and so just playing around, it takes a while to figure out what works for you. And then once you get a routine that really works well for you, stick with that. And if your skin stays happy, then amazing. No need to add extra products. No need to have a 10-step skincare routine. My number 1 tip was when I changed my diet and I got super clean, and then I noticed my pores got really super clean, and all of a sudden my like skin was changing. It was crazy. Crazy in like the best way possible. Just knowing how your food is affecting you, like in what ways, and then using your diet as your skincare is amazing. That is magic for your skin, working from the inside out with your diet, and then any topical products that you're using is like the finishing. It's like the cherry on top. So I do like microdermabrasion scrubs. I have my favorite one from Derma E, so I still use that. And also my favorite face wash, which is from Pacifica. The Pacifica Complete Face Wash. I still use that. I've used it for years. Love it. I do like to use a little bit of oils or something, you know, if my skin's a little dry or something, but I can do a different skincare video if you want like an updated skincare routine, like simplified skincare routine. Number 7, this is another one of those micro areas where clutter can really build up, and that's hair care tools and products. So I downsized my hair care routine overall, and so I have just a couple of tools that I use now, and I used to have a lot more. I used to have wands and curling irons and curlers, and I used to try different tools, but now I just keep it really simple. I just have my hair dryer and my flat iron, and that pretty much takes care of everything that I need, whether I'm curling my hair or straightening it. I wash my hair every second day. You know, wash my hair at night. I style it at night, and then so when I'm getting ready in the morning, the only thing I ever have to do is just take my flat iron and I just go around the frame of my face, and that's it. So I have like a super fast, like 3 to 5 minutes on my hair in the morning. The rest of it I don't touch. Like once I style it, it stays that exact same way without having to put any product on it or anything. So it just stays that way until I wash it again. And then I try to extend as much time in between washings as possible to avoid stripping it, and also it helps reduce the amount of product that I'm actually using, which in turn reduces how often I have to buy the product. So having a simplified hair routine definitely takes up less resources, time, energy, money. It gives those back to you so you can put those into something else that you really want to. Number 8 is another one of those micro areas that's a real hot spot for collecting clutter, and that's our nail polish collection or nail care routine. So I have a really simple nail routine and I do all my manicures, pedicures at home. I love nail polish, but I do go through my nail polish every once in a while just to make sure there's only the colors that make me feel my best when wearing them. So curate your nail polish collection to only have colors that make you feel your absolute best. And also when you're choosing nail polish or choosing, if you're decluttering, when you're choosing which ones to keep, only choose the ones that are most flattering on your skin tone. So not only colors that you are naturally drawn to, but also the colors that are most flattering. Your nails are something that, both men and women alike they look at your hands a lot. They notice those details. They notice your nails. I know you probably wouldn't think that men would be noticing your nails, right? Like a detail like that, but they definitely do. So about once a year I do a nail polish declutter, and I'm not normally out purchasing nail polishes because normally I work with companies and they will send out a collection. And so I'm lucky that I get to test out the products that way, and then I can share them with you guys. I swatch them for you, and I love doing those swatch videos with you. So when I recently did my last declutter, I had some colors that I just knew I wasn't gonna wear, and I didn't feel my best wearing. And so a lot of those were like the darks. So I got rid of all the darks, all the brights, the really colorful colors, any neons, like I don't wear neons, and glitters. So I kind of got rid of all that. So my nail polish collection is really minimal and simple now. So I narrowed down my collection to only my absolute favorites and the ones that I wear the most. So a lot of those are like French manicure, shears, really kind of more minimalistic colors, whites, very pale pastel blushes, pastel blush pink. So just like makeup, nail polish is one of those things where I focus on what color is going to be the most flattering for your natural color palette. So again, your beautiful, unique color palette, your hair color, your skin color, your complexion, your undertone. So 1, always go for nail polish that makes you feel your best when you're wearing it. 2, always look at color, shade, undertone to choose the best, most flattering colors for your natural color palette. Okay, number 9 is probably the biggest micro area or hotspot for gathering clutter, and that's our closet, our wardrobe. So owning less clothing is something that I've been slowly working towards, and let me tell you, it feels so good and so light and freeing to let go of old clothes. This is an area that you definitely don't want to be reaching in your closet and putting on clothes that don't make you feel good, because that's going to affect how you hold yourself through the whole rest of the day, how you carry yourself. So you want to wear clothing that is definitely making you feel your best. And this is also an area where quality beats quantity every time. You'd much rather have a closet of just a few choice, beautiful pieces that really make you feel your best when you're wearing them. They're tailored nicely, or they are flattering, on your shape, on your form, versus a whole massive closet full of fast fashion that's, cheap fabric, doesn't feel good, doesn't make you feel good. Maybe it looks frumpy or, wrinkly or just shabby, and you just don't feel pulled together. That is definitely not the closet that you want to look into every morning when you're starting your day, right? Now that I'm saying this, I'm like, you know what? I need to organize our closet again, because that could use some help for sure. So maybe I should do that with you guys. But it's definitely an area that's a work in progress, right? It's not like a one and done thing. Like it's ever evolving, right? Your wardrobe, your taste, your style. Every year we get we hone ourselves a little more, and we learn more, and we learn what looks best on us, and what colors work best on your beautiful natural color palette. That's another thing, is having it really organized and streamlined, so when you start your day, you look at your closet and it feels uplifting. It doesn't start out like like this weight of stress of stuff. Like the more stuff that is like compounded, it's like when you look at that, it's like you have compounded that stress like inside your spine or something. I don't know if you guys feel that way about when you see like piles of clutter, but it affects me like to the bone. Which sounds funny, but that's how I feel when I look in a messy closet where this stuff is like stacked and you just feel like the weight of it, So clothing is a big expense that we can actually save a lot of money on if we invest in pieces that we really care about, that we feel are best wearing, and that we will build a long-term wardrobe instead of having more like, throwaway culture, fast fashion items that might be cheap initially, but in the long term we have to repurchase because they don't last very long. And so it ends up costing you more and costing the planet more overall. Okay, the next section is all about quick tips that are easy to remember and easy to implement. So number 10 is go for pieces that offer both form and function. So maybe you have to have a home office, but you can design it in a way with beautiful pieces that inspire you and make you feel uplifted when you walk into your office. So it's still functional, it still gets the job done that you need to do, but at the same time it has a beautiful form to go with it. Number 11, find your color palette. What colors do you feel good wearing? What colors feel best in your home? In our home, we love crisp whites and creating an airy atmosphere with accents of earthy elements and textures. I quit buying colorful furniture and home decor, and I keep color in small doses as an accent only. So that's what we're really drawn to in our house, but at your house it might be a totally different color palette that really inspires you. And color psychology is a real thing, so you've got to find out what colors really connect with you and go with that and build around that, because you're going to be getting a certain emotion. Color affects mood, it affects your emotions, it affects how your mind works, it affects your clarity of mind. Like for example, I love really pale pastel blue, like pastel blue sky, and that I find that when I look at that color with white, it opens my mind. Like it gives me like this clarity, like this fresh clarity of feeling going through my mind and my body. And that's how I feel. So you can get very in tune with how color is affecting you. And in fact, I'd be really interested to hear about your guys' color palette. If you would leave that in the comments, I would love to hear, what is your color palette and how does it make you feel? And so just knowing that color does have an effect on you, and once you know how it affects you, you use that as a tool in your environment and in your space to promote more of that feeling, more of that emotion that you're after. But yeah, how color affects the mood is a really fascinating topic that I'm really into. I love learning about that, and I love hearing how it affects other people too, because I know how all the colors affect me, and I'm fascinated with hearing about more how it affects you also. So let me know, is there certain colors that bring you down, like lowers your mood, do you notice? And other colors that lift you up and make you feel like more fresh and more clear, and you have more clarity in your mind? I would love to just see like what that is for you guys. So leave me some comments below. Okay, number 12, embrace open space and clean surfaces. Now that's something that you could also think of as embracing empty space too, because sometimes empty space or, clean, clear spaces, those feel the best. It's what's in between the stuff that feels the most uplifting. Have you ever noticed that? I notice that when it comes to organizing shelves, especially. That's a good example, is because you could pack your shelves literally, like they could be packed either with books or stuff or trinkets or whatever, from one end to the other. Every space could be just like lined up with stuff. Or you could pull stuff out of there and arrange it in a way where you have some empty spaces in between the things. And then the items are highlighted, your most special items are highlighted. And then the empty space is kind of like that space to breathe, Number 13, make it easy to clean, meaning don't have stuff stacked onto every surface, because then you're gonna have to try to move it every time you gotta clean it or wipe it down or dust it. It's just easier to have stuff put away and have your surfaces free and clear, where you're able to reach them easily and you don't have to move a bunch of stuff to get to the space that you need to clean. Okay, number 14 is one of my favorites. I have this rule for our house, and that is something comes in, something goes out. That means that things just don't get to just be flowing into the house. If you bring something in, something has to be going out, something has to leave. So it makes you think twice, and you can be like, well, okay, how much do I really want this thing? Do I have anything at home that I'm willing to let go of to be able to bring this home? It just makes you stop and think before you just let something into the house. Number 15, go for larger items or statement pieces, but less items overall. Buying too many small items, small pieces of furniture or decorative items, knickknacks, can lead to a more cluttered appearance in your space. Number 16, create an environment that reflects the qualities in yourself that you want to grow. Now, this could be anything from, elegance to sophistication, maybe glam, or maybe you go for more of a down-to-earth vibe, maybe a bohemian world traveler kind of vibe, calm energy. There's a whole host of ways that you are creating different qualities in yourself by creating the environment around you. So make your space a reflection of the qualities that you want to see more of in yourself. Number 17, keep a wish list and work from that. So that way, if you are, organizing your closet, actually go ahead and jot down like the pieces that you really wish you had in your closet and keep that wish list. So even if it's not a specific item, just have your vision on your list and have that written down, and then you can work from a plan to gain that in the future. Number 18, skip impulse buys. And this is why having a wish list is so important, because it's like a plan of action for your future. You already have it planned out, mapped out, and that's what you're sticking to. And you're not so tempted to fall into, the instant gratification of an impulse buy. Number 19, delayed gratification. That goes right along with skipping impulse buys and having a wish list. And if you are delaying gratification, like if you see something that all of a sudden you think you really want, put it on your wish list and then check back with that wish list in a few weeks, and see how you feel about it, or even in 1 week, and see if you still want it as badly as you did when you were right there in front of it. Because you'll find that a lot of times, a lot of items on your wish list end up getting cycled out. Like if you go back and check on them, you're like, you know what, I'm kind of glad that I didn't get that now. Now I have that money for something that I really want, something that I've been wanting for a long time, and I'd rather save it and put it towards that than to have spent it on that, And let me tell you, things are not as exciting once you get them in your possession. Like you can chase after something and think that that is like your world, like that's what you want, and then you finally get it and you're like, next, a month later, you're like, it's in your closet or whatever. It's great and everything, but you don't have that desire anymore. It's the chase. A lot of times it's the chase that we are attracted to so much, right? It's kind of like dating or something, Number 20 is just to remember that minimalism is just a tool. You can still be a design lover, for example, or any other hobby or anything that you're into, and be a minimalist too, because minimalism is really just a tool to use in any part of your life. It doesn't have to be a whole lifestyle. It can just be in certain areas, and you just use it as a tool to cut the clutter, clear the clutter away from you, and clear your mind at the same time, and lift off the stress of excess stuff around you, or stuff that is taking away your resources, your time, your energy, your money. It frees that up and gives it back to you so you can put it into the things that you really care about. That's the point. Minimalism clears out the clutter and distractions from your life, and it clears the way for doing more of what you love. Number 21, go for visual interest versus visual noise. And number 22, refine your taste and style a little more each day. And this is a fun part because there's all kinds of ideas and ways that you can do that, and just kind of bring yourself a level up in different areas of your life. Maybe you want to be more productive, more efficient. Maybe you want, your color palette of your wardrobe, or your taste in makeup or nail polish or something, any area of life that you want. Maybe it's your business, or, maybe you just want to have more productive habits, or you want to eat differently. So whatever area of life it is that you want to improve on, continuous refinement, honing, that's the fun part. That's the part where we're like our own clay that we get to work with and mold into whatever it is that we want. So vision boards, or digital vision boards, or Pinterest boards, those are all great ways to kind of get the idea in front of you, have that ultimate goal, and know where you're going to. Sometimes that's all it takes, is just knowing what direction you want to go, because sometimes it can be a little confusing, like what exactly, what am I trying to accomplish? Sometimes we're in that space, but once you figure out where you're trying to go, it's like a stress has lifted from you. That's another way of using minimalism, is to lift away the other stresses and just being able to see very simply what direction you want to go in life. And just knowing that makes you feel better already. So I just wanted to compile all those thoughts together into one minimalist reset video since we're starting a new decade. So whether you're just going to do a little spring cleaning coming up here, or you want to, really reduce the amount of stuff in your life and the amount of clutter, and you just want to feel lighter, hopefully there's something in here that could help you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video. I love you. Have an awesome week. Bye guys. Let me just say this. Products seem more exciting when you don't have them, and then you get them, and then it's not really all that big of a deal. It's better to go after experiences, I would say, because that's something that lives on in your mind forever, and it always feels good to have awesome life experiences built up rather than things around you being built up. The things are never as good as experiences.